Hi guys, I'm Josh from the drum department here at Andertons, and today I'm joined by Jules, who is the drum product manager at Roland Europe. Jules?
Hey, how you doing, Josh? All right?
Right, today we've got the new Roland TD-1KV drum kit. So Jules, tell us a little bit about it.
So this is the TD1KV, but we've also got the TD1K model, so there's two kits in the lineup. Basically, the TD1 for us is our brand new entry-level kit. It is still a V-Drums kit proper though, so all the V-Drums kits that we're famous for in the past and the ones that we make now, right the way up to the TD30, TD15, TD11, etc. This is one of the family basically, but it's just the starting point to get into electronic drums or to get into the world of V-Drums.
Cool. So from first look, it resembles the TD-4KP. What are the differences between those two like beginner setups? So
TD-4KP, although it can be used by beginners, is a portable kit. So the great thing about that one, because the stand design is that you can collapse it and completely pack it down, stick it in a bag and take it with you. So if you're going to go to a rehearsal or a gig or something like that, you've got a portable kit that you can take on the go. The other thing about the TD-4KP is the module that it uses, the TD4 module, has got editability in there, so that allows you to actually tune some of the drums, swap the instruments out. So if you want to change the snare drum for a different one, or change the ride for another one, or something like that, or maybe even add some damping and muffling, etc., to the drums in the TD-4KP, you can do that. So although it still definitely can be used by beginners, and actually I can see the fact that you can pack it down being quite useful for use in a house for certain people or in a flat or something. It's kind of like a slightly different beast really, but you're right in saying that they do share the same pads, which is great, so there is a similar look there, but the TD1 series is kind of much more simple to use, and it's really aimed at somebody that's just getting into drumming really.
Cool. So having said, if you're just getting straight into it, come up to the TD1. But it can go through all ages, up to like even maybe pro guys who want to like warm up backstage or something. Adjustability, can you adjust it easily?
Yeah, I think so.
Like height different, like say I'm 6'1", someone playing is 5 foot. Can we both still play this as easily as?
Definitely. In fact, I'm pretty sure when I say this that this is the only kit that's designed for complete beginners that you can completely adjust the height of it. So there's kind of these three clamps here, and you just adjust those three and the whole thing can go down. So it means that like maybe 1 minute I could be playing the kit and the next minute like my son or daughter or someone could be having a go, and you can just adjust the height of the kit totally.
Perfect.
I think also because the design of the stand that we've gone for here, we've allowed quite a lot of flexibility in the setup here, so you can move the cymbals around, you can move the pads around, adjust the angles, and that means that actually you can get quite a comfortable setup. So it doesn't matter if you're a beginner and maybe you're learning on an acoustic kit with your drum teacher, or whether you're somebody that's been playing for a long time and you're just looking for a practice kit, you can achieve something on this kit which is quite comfortable and quite natural to play, I think.
And that'll be really good for teachers as well, like with multiple students. Everyone's going to be different heights. One guy comes in, adjust it to this, next one comes in, adjust it to that. So flexible in like all aspects. Yeah,
absolutely. I think it will be quite popular for that reason as well with teachers. Yeah.
Perfect. That's good. So sound-wise for this kit, people will look at the price and then look at the next one up. So you look at the TD11 to the 15. If you've got this module, you're looking at the 11 module, the 15 module. Are you sacrificing sounds for this price compared to higher V-Drum series kits?
That's a really good question actually. When we came up with the concept for the TD1 series for the entry level market, one of the things that we said we absolutely wanted to stick to is kind of our core Roland V-Drums values, and for me that's about the sound, so the sound inside the module and the sound of what you hear. It's about the playability of the kit, so actually the things that you're hitting and how they feel. It's about the sensitivity of the pads you're hitting in the dynamic range, and it's also about the durability, so it's kind of the components, how well they last, and all of those. I think all those things we're quite famous for. So just because we created a kit for the entry level market didn't mean that we wanted to completely get rid of the Roland sound quality. So in actual fact, the sounds inside here are kind of come from our generation from the TD4, TD9, TD12 series, but we've reconfigured them so they're kind of tweaked for the TD1s. They sound really cool. That's and really playable. The TD11 and TD15, of course, the sound quality, the Roland sound quality is still there, but what you're getting with those is you're getting supernatural technology. Supernatural, maybe that's a completely different video to do because it's not on the subject, but basically supernatural means that as you play, the drums respond to your playing, and you get a very smooth dynamic range, and actually they behave and respond much more like an acoustic drum would from the sounds that you get out from the kit. But I think you'll agree, when you play the TD1, the kit sounds great.
And actually, 'cause we had a little go before, the supernatural technology you're talking about, it with the different dynamic range, this kit does have that, and we had one kit selected, and it's more of a percussion feel, and if you're hitting it quieter, like more ghost note style, it has one sound, and then you open it up and it's got that real slap that you would get from live percussion.
Maybe you can play that, Josh, because that's quite an interesting subject actually. So what I was talking there about the kind of sound and technology that come from our V-Drums past and present. One of the things that we have there is something called velocity switching, which means that as you play harder and harder on the pad, you're getting a kind of different dynamic sound, but eventually you play a bit harder and the sound switches to another. And if you could show that with the conga slap, you can get two different sounds out of the same pad, and basically that's one of the V-Drums technologies. So we've made that available in a kit, which is kind of from 399 upwards.
Perfect. Okay, so let's talk about the new design for this kit. It looks great and it feels great to play. Can you tell us a little bit about why it's gone this way compared to maybe a standard rack on the 11 or 15, and why it's suitable for this kit?
Yeah, sure. Essentially, because we are creating a kit for the entry level market, and therefore we want to be able to offer it at a price that people really can afford, we've come up with a new design of the stand to make that possible, but it's got a couple of advantages as well. But one of the things that you will see, and this is where we were really keen not to cut any corners at all with the TD1 series, is the cymbals and the pads, etc., that are on the kit here are identical to the ones used on other V-Drums series. So the snare pad, for example, this is the PDX8 snare pad, is exactly the same, no difference at all to the snare pads you get on like a TD11K or TD11KV model.
And that in itself is amazing, like for the price, and you're not jumping up a whole another price range, but you're getting the same pad and feel. It's kind of perfect.
Absolutely. And same with the cymbals. The cymbals that we've got here, these are the CY series. These are smaller, they're 5-inch CY5 cymbals. We do bigger versions of the same cymbal on things like the TD11 kits, for example, but the cymbals are basically exactly the same. The pads here, you'll recognise these from the TD4KP as well, and they're just single zone rubber pads. But again, the playing feel of the pads is really important, and that shouldn't be compromised just because you're paying sort of 400 or 500 pounds really. So yeah, we've kept that in there. You asked about the stand. So the stand basically, again, one of the things we're known for is like the sturdiness and durability and feel of our kits. But the reason we didn't go for a standard rack on this one is because they take up a little bit more space to start off with. So it means that this one, probably because it's going to be used in a lot of bedrooms or spare rooms or parts of the house.
Little studios maybe, yeah.
Absolutely. It means that by not using that traditional rack system, it's a little bit more compact. The other thing that you can do with that as well is that you can reduce the kind of vibration, etc., that comes through the stand itself by reducing the amount of contact points with the floor. So here we've got 3 feet with these kind of like rubber isolators between the stand and the floor, so it means that as you're playing the stand, there's less vibration transferred into the floor. So
if you're in like a, say, second or third floor of a flat, you've got your neighbours downstairs not wanting to hear that constant thud coming through the floorboards. That's perfect.
It helps with that for sure. I mean, again, you can use other things like our noise eaters. I think we'll look at those later. If you want to reduce the noise even further, but definitely from a stand point of view, it helps with that. But again, coming back to the point that this is a proper Roland quality kit. All of the clamps and all of the tubing, etc., that we use on this stand are completely the same as the TD11, TD15 series. Even the kits that we made before, in like the TD9 and TD4, we've made sure that we've kept all of the quality there.
That's perfect. So I mean, essentially, you're getting a good chunk of a higher V-drum kit for a lot less of the price, which I think, especially if you're starting out, you want your first drumming experience to feel like a good one, and something that's going to bring you back to the drums. Because if you sit down and it wasn't to feel good or with you, you'll be like, maybe it's not for me. But with something that is comfortable straight away, feels good, sounds good, the beginner player can really kind of get into it, hopefully.
I think that is a good point actually as well, is that one of the things that we've realised is that you can buy a drum kit. Actually, it could be any instrument, could be a guitar, could be anything at all. You can buy it at a price point because it's cheaper. But there's that old adage of you kind of get what you pay for. And do you really notice such a big difference? Actually, with drums, I think you really do. Because if you play something which feels really, really good under your sticks, you're able to play with more genuine drumming technique, and that technique will feel more accurate and feel better. Also, it reduces the noise as well, and the more kind of things you have inside here to help you with your learning, etc., whether it's a coach mode or songs to play along to, whatever, really helps you to be motivated to play. And if you're motivated to play, then you'll enjoy it more, and if you enjoy it more, you'll get better.
Exactly, and learn more.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
So the money that you spend on the kit will reflect on how much enjoyment and how much use and playability and learning you get out of that as well, out of that instrument.
That's really good. I mean, okay, so let's go back to like noise levels and like the way it's designed. These pedals, they look like a new design for Roland. Tell me a little bit about these pedals.
So you remember from the HD3 series kit that we had, which is actually quite a different kit. This isn't just a replacement of HD3; it's actually a completely different animal, really. But you remember one of the advantages of that HD3 kit is it had the pedals that were a lot quieter, but they were built into the stand. So what we've got here is we've got pedals which are independent, so you can move them around the floor, but they are quiet basically. So there's no beater inside the kick pedal, and that reduces the noise, that kind of thud noise that you get.
The real thud, yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. We've done that and made them purposefully quieter. Cool. But one of the things which is quite interesting actually about the kick, I don't know if we could just pick this up and show this. Just remove that cable. So one of the things that you'll notice about the kick pad is it's got a really, really solid foot plate. That's solid metal, and that's quite important to the feeling, because although it's a beaterless pedal, you don't want to.
Yeah, it adds a little bit of weight to resemble an acoustic.
Absolutely,
feel,
and the durability as well. And it's a very solid kick playing feel. The other thing which is quite interesting is there's a little pad underneath there that you'll see that the metal plate makes contact with, and that little pad there is exactly the same pad material, same pad type, as the pad that's used on our KD9 kick pad. That's cool. The one that comes with the TD11, TD15 series V-drums. So it means that you kind of get the similar sort of feel, but definitely you get the same dynamic expression and sensitivity
that's
of the kick. So it's really important. And the other point about that is that you can upgrade this as well because of the sensor type and the pad type that we've got in here. It means that you can swap this one out for a KD9 pad and use it with an acoustic drum pedal, or if you wanted to play a little bit quieter still, but perhaps have the feeling of a genuine acoustic pedal, you can upgrade to the KT10.
Perfect. Should we have a look at some of the upgrades for the kick?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so we've talked a little bit about the noise levels and like the kick pedal not being, obviously being beaterless, so not having that thud. So what we'll do now, we're going to play it. We've turned the module off, so this is what your neighbours or your brother or sister, your parents would hear if you were playing with headphones on. And as you can hear, it's great. Especially the pedals, because I think that's a real main thing. Even on electric kits, the pedal has that real thud. So to have that, practically not there is fantastic.
You'll still notice as well that with those, even with the beaterless pedals, you'll still get a little bit of noise. If you're on a wooden floorboard or something, for example, and you're upstairs, you'll still get a little bit of that thud, thud, thud.
Is your foot coming down?
Yeah, absolutely, and it's pretty hard to avoid that. But the actual noise of the fact that you haven't got a beater hitting the pad, that reduces the noise. But there's something that you can do there. So we've got a product called the NE10 Noise Eater.
Okay.
Effectively, it's like a barrier between the pedal and the floor, and that reduces the noise and the vibration which goes through the pedal into the floor by 75%. So it means that if you're if you're hearing that kind of bang 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 sound, it's going to almost completely remove that. It's noticeably quiet.
Cool.
So this is our NE10 Noise Eater, and basically you can use this under the kick and under the hi-hat as well, because obviously you're still going to get some.
That's quite good, especially if you're doing like ride stuff and you've got your left foot going.
Absolutely.
It's going to be going quite constantly.
Absolutely.
Cool.
So it's literally a case of that we pick up the pedal, we put the NE10 underneath it, we put that on top, and you're good to go. So you'll still hear a little bit of tap from the beater, but now you've reduced that noise and vibration going through the floor. For everyone else around you.
Perfect. You can, even in here you can hear the difference. So yeah, it's a really cool feature to have, and a little extra add-on. Okay, so now we've got one of the upgrade pedals that you can use with this kit. It's the KT10, and as you can see, it looks a little bit beefier. Jules, tell us a little bit about this upgrade.
Yep, so obviously we've got a beaterless pedal here which comes with the kit, but it's a little bit smaller and it's a little bit more compact, but still uses that genuine pad on the inside there to get the real dynamics of the kit. So this is the KT10, the kick trigger pad. This is an optional accessory for all V-Drums kits, and basically this has got a direct drive, a full size and very solid base plate, but it actually has a beater still beating into the pedal itself, and it's still got the sensitivity pad, so it's kind of like a bigger, chunkier version of this really. Okay. And the advantage of that is that it allows you to play with very accurate and very real, genuine acoustic pedal technique, but you still don't get the overall noise. It's still a noise-saving design, just like this one, but perhaps you can play, with some real technique, really.
Yeah. So talk about that and like comparing it to an acoustic pedal. Is there any components from like acoustic pedals that have been put in to this to make it feel more realistic, I guess.
Absolutely. I mean, the only major difference between this and an acoustic drum pedal that you'll find is the actual design of the beater itself. Obviously, normally on an acoustic pedal you have a beater which of protrudes and slaps against the head of the playing surface, whereas this one has got a beater inbuilt here, and it's got a kind of reverse action mechanism, but it feels exactly the same as if you were playing an acoustic pedal against either one of our own pads or even against an acoustic drum head.
Okay.
We've got full bearings in the cam here, and we've got a direct drive rather than a chain system here.
Right.
But if you give it a go and you sort of use,
the weight is very it's there. It feels very realistic.
It's adjustable as well, because you can move the beaters around to adjust the weight of the feel of the pedal. You can change the spring if you want to.
So it's like adjusting it on a real kit for what kind of tension that you prefer.
Absolutely, yeah.
Great. Well, let's have a listen with it. It's great. It feels like it really. I mean, I think the weight of it really makes it kind of come to life, as if you're. And I think the transfer between the two would be really good.
And there's something else that you could do here which is quite cool as well. The KT10 on the side here has got a little jack input, and it's called mix-in. So basically you can take another KT10, come from the output of that one into the mix-in in here, and then connect the kick connector from the module here into the output in here. So effectively you could have one KT10 here, another KT10 the other side next to the hi-hat pedal, and you've got
some
double
metal
kick going through one.
Bring
module.
out the metal, Okay, cool. That's. I was actually going to ask about what you could do, like if someone wanted to start learning metal or double kick.
That's a really good point as well, and a good time to introduce the other pad that you can use as well.
Okay, so that was the KT10. Now we have the KD9, which I guess looks more like a real bass drum. It's an actual pad. So Jules, tell us a little bit about this upgrade.
So the KD9 is the kick pad which comes with the TD11, TD15 series, and before that the TD9 series as well. Basically this is a kick pad for which you put an acoustic drum pedal attached to it. So it means that if you want to play your TD1 with an acoustic drum pedal, so maybe you've been learning for a bit and you want to start to use an acoustic pedal, just upgrade to the KD9 and you can do that. The playing surface here is bigger, which means it can take a double pedal. We've got obviously a single beater here, but if you had a double pedal with two beaters here and you had the slave pedal over here, it'll still work with it, no problem. Yeah, absolutely. Interestingly, this playing surface that we've got in here, although it's bigger, the actual cloth pad playing surface is exactly the same but smaller in the KT10, and exactly the same but smaller in the kick pedal which comes with the TD1. So all the way across there is some kind of common feel, and definitely the triggering response, dynamic feel is consistent right the way across. It's just the actual feeling that you get back from the pedal itself that you get by upgrading these things, basically. Yeah.
That's great. So if someone obviously starting off with the first standard one that comes with the kit, and then you're going up through the series, it's not the kind of, you can, once again, it's growing with it, so you can grow with it and still have that same feel from the first one, just with a.
Absolutely, yeah. And you'll notice there as well that we've put this one on the noise eater. Again, the reason we've done that is because probably of all the three pedals that you get, this one's going to create the most noise and the most vibration. So this is probably definitely one to be used with the KT10 if you really want to reduce the noise in your house.
With that one.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, let's have a listen. I love that. It feels really good, and it works well with this kit. it doesn't feel like you're playing something completely alien or way above it, because it blends in perfectly. Okay, so we've done pedals. What in terms of upgrading can we do with cymbals, pads? Can we add? How many can we add if we can add any?
Yeah, there is room for an extra crash cymbal. There's room for it on the stand, and you have an extra input in the module as well to do that. So we've got a specific product for that. It's called, are you ready? The OP TD1C. And basically, it's a crash kit that you can add to the TD1.
It's a bit of a mouthful, that one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Crash 3 would have done.
TD1 Crash 3.
Yeah.
And yeah, basically you can just put it on the end here, and I'll show you that now.
Yeah, let's do it.
So this is it, basically. This is the kit that you get with the OP TD1C. So you get exactly the same arm that you have here on the rest of the kit.
Okay.
So we're just going to pop that one on the end here. Just tighten that up. And then we just pop the cymbal on the top. And then what you'll notice is you've got the extra input here, which has got like a protective cap over it.
Okay.
You just pull that off,
Just like that.
just like that, and then pop it in there. And already you can hear there's a China sound already assigned to that. So if you play it now,
I do like my Chinas. That's cool. It's nice to be able to have that extra sound. So you can add it to your grooves, you can add it to your fills, different styles of music. So if you had, like, I know a lot of male guys like the China sound. So if you wanted to have a China as well as crash and ride, get your double kick, China, good to go.
Yeah, exactly. You've got the full kit.
So when we were swapping around the pedals, we had an idea whether we could take the KT10. And take the standard pedal that comes with the kit, connect the two to make the double kit, like we mentioned earlier. And luckily, it seems to have worked.
So just to explain what's going on, we've got the standard pedal here. The jack output is coming from that into the mix in the KT10, and then the regular kick input into the module is connected to the output. So you've got one going to the other, going into the module.
Okay, cool. So let's. Seems to work all right.
So if you want your pads to be quieter because of the beaterless design, that's the way to get double kick. Or otherwise use the KD9 with a double acoustic kick pedal. Yeah.
So this is great because, like, you take you take the beginner kit, but you can, with the upgrades, extra cymbal, extra pads, double kick, you can really turn it into a whole other drum kit, really, which is great. And like that's the thing where you can. Beginner player can grow with the kit, so it's not going to like, I need a new kit for this. You really can go with this one kit. And
I think that's quite important for parents, actually. If you're a parent that's buying a drum kit for your son or daughter for them to practice and keep them learning, you're going to make the investment, but you don't want to keep reinvesting in a new kit every year or every 2 years or something like that. So if you go for the kit that's already going to encourage them to play and encourage your kids to learn, then when you buy a kit that is upgradable as well, it means that it will grow with them, and then eventually they will be ready for a kind of intermediate or pro level kit. But it just means that you don't have to keep selling one off to buy another one, to sell one to buy another one. It will grow with you.
Yeah, and I think that stands for the quality that Roland always have for their kits. The quality is there for that to be possible, and I think that's really cool.